everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing an October reading wrap up. A little late because I was really busy in the beginning of November, but better late than never. For October, I was able to read 13 books, which is a little above my average, and I was super happy with that. I will say the first 6 on this list I did read during a 24-hour readathon that I did at the beginning of October, so that's why I was able to get so many in there. And I did do a lot of audiobooks in October because I was, in a little bit of a slump. So to start, we have Yours Truly, which I don't have with me. I borrowed it from a friend. This one was a 4.5 stars for me. I actually really enjoyed this story. I related to Jacob a lot, and I really loved his character. As someone with anxiety, I felt like it was very relatable and very authentic, which I really appreciated. I also adore the fake dating trope, so that was definitely a plus in my mind for this book. So next on the list that I read during this same 24-hour readathon was The Ex-Hex. I've been wanting to read this one, and I picked it up on sale at a bookstore, and I thought it would just be the perfect fun fall read to usher in October, and it was a 4 stars for me. It was super cute, had just like all the spooky fall vibes that you want in a book, so I really enjoyed this one. Next, I actually read a trilogy, and that is the Caraval trilogy, so I'll kind of go through each one. To start, I obviously read Caraval, and this was a 4.5 stars for me. I thought this world was so interesting, and I just fell in love with the characters. I was just kept on the edge of my seat, and it just felt so whimsical and fun that I was obsessed, and was excited that I was doing the 24-hour readathon when I read this so that I could go right in to Legendary. And Legendary was a 4 stars for me. I didn't connect with Donatella's character as much, but I still really loved the world, and I loved seeing it grow and get new insight into different characters, and so I did really enjoy this one as well. And lastly was Finale, which was a 5 star for me. I absolutely and utterly adored this one. I love the dual POV with Scarlet and Donatella after getting to see both sisters' sides. In the first 2 books, I loved that this one was a combination, and it had all the great characters in it, and it was just so magical, and I just loved seeing how everything played on each other and everything was there for a reason. And it makes me super excited to read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which I hopefully will be getting to soon. But yeah, this was a 5 star for me, and overall the Caraval trilogy was a 5-star series for me. Absolutely loved it, loved the world, and definitely want to continue reading in this world. I love Stephanie Garber's writing. And moving on, we have none other than Heir of Fire. This one rolled over from September, so I was reading it in September and finished it in October. I was annotating it, as you've probably seen in some of my other videos. I am going through the Throne of Glass series again, rereading it and annotating it. This one was a 5 star yet again. I love rereading. It just helps me pick up on so many more things, and I just love being back in this world. These characters will always have a special place in my heart. So yeah, I was really happy to read this one again. And then lastly in the 24-hour readathon group was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldier. And this one was super cozy and cute. It was a 3 stars for me. I think personally I like a little bit more suspense and action in my stories. Even if it's just a regular romance, I like there to be some things going on. But this one was just a cozy fantasy, and if that's the type of thing you want, where it's just a lot of emotional, very low stakes, just that cozy feel, especially in a coffee shop, definitely give it a try. I just don't think, for me and what I wanted in that time, it fit great, but it definitely was really cute, which is why I gave it a 3 stars. So yep, that is Legends and Lattes. So next we're going to move on to some that I either read on my Kindle or listened to, since that was the majority of the rest of the month for me. So I read Love Interest by Clara Gilmore, which I got as an ARC from NetGalley and the publishers, so thank you so much. I really enjoyed this one. It was a 4 stars for me. It was just a super cute workplace romance, rom-com, fun vibes. So yeah, that one is definitely one that you should check out. Next, I listened to The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. This one was a little crazy for me. I normally don't read anything like that, but it was on a bingo card on Bookstagram that I was doing. So I listened to it. It was super quick. It fit the October spooky vibe, so it was a 3 stars. Nothing special, but still a fun, October listen. I don't think I could have read it, but I'm glad that I listened to it. And the one that I listened to was like kind of cool with all the different sounds and everything, so that definitely made it a lot better. Then next on my list is The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I also listened to this one on audiobook, and normally I'm not a huge audiobook fan, but this one was done really well. It kept me on the edge of my seat. There were some plot twists that I guessed and some that I didn't, so I found that it was a good mix of that. I gave this one a 4 stars, and it was a really good, spooky read for October. It was my first Frida McFadden book as well, so I really enjoyed her writing and definitely want to read more of her books because a good thriller every now and then is really nice. And then I also listened to Cleat Cute by Meryl Wilsner, and it is a queer romance set in sports, specifically soccer. And this one was a 3 stars for me. It was really cute. I listened to it. I think maybe because I listened to it, I wasn't as invested in the characters, but it was really great, and it was really funny as well. One of the main characters was really funny, which I enjoyed. So definitely check that one out if you're on the lookout for a new queer romance. It just came out, I'm pretty sure. So definitely check out for that one. And then my second to last read in October is another physical book that I read, which was none other than Billy Summers by Stephen King. I was a little scared going into this one. It's my first Stephen King book, and I've heard a lot about how descriptive and how unique his writing is and how he can take forever to explain things, which I did see in this book, I will admit, but I thought it was so interesting, and it ended up being a 4 stars for me. It was just a really good story. I think it was a little bit long and maybe a little bit too descriptive because I was in a slump, and so I really had to push through at times. But overall, it was pretty good, and I definitely am interested in looking into some of his other like mystery thrillers. I'm not a horror person, so I don't think I can read any of his horror books, but overall, I thought it was pretty good, and definitely for October, it was really nice to have that mystery vibe. So yeah, if you haven't read this one, you should definitely look into it. It was pretty good. And then last but not least on my list is another ARC that I read by Karina Gaskell. It's called Second Chance Books. This one was also a 4 stars for me. It was super cute, super cozy. It was set in this thrifted bookstore, and the world was similar, based off of the UK, but it was its own kind of world, which I thought added a fun element to it. And it was a childhood friends to kind of strangers to lovers, and you get to see both main characters work through their own struggles together and separate, and it was just really sweet. There were some great lines about love, both from a relationship standpoint and from like a romantic relationship standpoint and like a platonic friendship standpoint, which I found so sweet. The found family in this one was top tier. So that was my last one. This one just recently released at the beginning of November. So definitely be on the lookout for it if you want just a cute, cozy romance that just pulls on your heartstrings a little bit. But yeah, that was it for October. I had an average rating of about 4 stars. Yeah, had a great month. Here are some of my other stats from Storygraph, which I think are super interesting. Overall, I am excited for November. I've got some good books lined up. If you haven't, you should watch my November TBR where I picked it from the prompt jar. I've got some good ones picked. But yeah, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Mwah!